Good morning and happy Monday. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change. This is live and recorded. For anybody that might be new here, we typically do is go over crypto news or news in general in the space, update myself, bring you guys along for the ride. Let's see who's here in the house, and then we'll go from there. Miss Pocket Change, my lovely wife, good to see you. Steven Cicero, Nicholas Pitts, Nismo Miner, what's up, dude? We got Joseph, Game with Smokey Dan, Chris Hanley, Snake, what's up, dude? Good to see you. DJ, good to see you, buddy. DJ Death Star, that is. Black Hat Team, what's up, man? We have Andrew Masad, Nerd Beast, I think I already said that. Solar Miner, what's up, man? Good to see you. Actually, I'm working on my pergola, which is been a pain in my butt. My back hurts just a little bit. Tim I Am Crypto, what's up, man? Good to see you. Anybody else I may have missed, I apologize. Let's get into it, shall we? All right, Bitcoin, $61,137.
Bruh.
This has been a bloodbath the last couple hours anyways. Actually, it's been like an entire week of just downwards price action. Is what it is, guys. Listen, fire sale. This is not the time to run and turn into a Timmy. This is the time to invest more, because the bull run, even if it's just beginning, it hasn't really started yet, to be honest. Ethereum, $3,309. We got Solana at $126. That's kind of bad. LTC, $69. That's even worse. But it's, you know what, again, a good time to buy. At least I think these two coins are going to do very, very well in the upcoming bull run. We have Caspa at 14.8, not too bad, almost 15 cents. Zoom in for Max real quick if he's here in the chat. Not sure. I think he might be on his way to mining. Disrupt, but we're down 7.1%, or 0.1% rather, Max, and down 4% on Caspa. DJ Mines is winning this one. We got Dogecoin under 12 cents. ADA is under 40 cents. Look at this, 37.4. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. We have ETC at 22.49. Man. All right, let's check out crypto bubbles here. The biggest loser of the day is we got, it looks like Ordi 13.3% down on the day, ranked 92nd at $35.19. We got Notcoin down 12.3% to 1 cent. Let's see, we have Maker down 11.4, $2,151. This coin's that expensive. Jeez, that's insane, man. Everything is just really taking a hit today. Jasmy's down 8%. Man, it's at 2 cents again. Might be a good time to buy some Jasmy too, actually. Insane. What are you guys buying? Put it in the chat. I would love to know what you guys are investing in now. The price action is going down. Where are you guys investing your money? I'd love to know. Don't just say Bitcoin. Don't be boring. Want to know. All right, flashbang. Fear and Greed Index, said that a little late, but we are at 51 in the neutral territory. This is great for a good reset. Typically during the summer anyways, we float sideways, so this is kind of expected. Usually towards the end of August, September, October, November, that's when we start seeing some movement and things. So hey, who knows? We'll have to I guess just sit back and enjoy the ride. Waiting, says Nismo Miner. Nice. Let's see. It's a good time to reload. Absolutely all set. What's up, dude? Good to see you. All right, trending coins. We got MAGA Hat, Gleese coins. Did I say that? Maybe that's up 31.1%. I don't even know what that is. That's 12 cents. And then Ton coins down 4.6% today. Top 10 coins by coin market cap over on CoinGecko. We got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, Solana, USDC, Lido Staked, Ether, XRP, Ton coin, and Dogecoin in 10th place. Look at that. We got Cardano in 11th place at a $13 billion market cap. Man, look at this. Tron went down to a 10 billion, or it's in 12th place now. Shiba actually went down to a 9.8 billion. Man, things are coming down hard. That's crazy. Crazy. But again, good time to buy. Look, Litecoin, right? Just look at this one, right? 69.19. All right. All-time high, $410. You guys, this is 83% down. Anything that's like 80% down has a decent chance of making you something, right? The top 10 coins obviously typically are hard to get actual good returns on unless you invest a bunch. But realistically, the coins that get into like the top 20 and above, I say have a real good chance to it's just easier to double the market cap, you know what I mean? Like 5 billion to 10 billion is way easier to do versus 20 billion to 40. It just, hopefully that makes sense to you guys. But Caspa, oh shit, Caspa's in the top 30. Look at that, 29th place, 14.9. Caspa's been doing pretty good actually. Hopefully that continues on the right path. There's been a lot of videos actually, a lot of, I wouldn't say FUD, because it's not like pure uncertainty and doubt. It's kind of like a lot of videos just trying to pump the coin, which is obviously not a bad thing, especially if you're invested into Caspa, but I want to see stuff. I don't want to just hear the same shit in a different way. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to see this stuff work. I want to see the smart contracts happen. I want to see these coins, the new KRC 20 tokens take off. Like, I want to see this shit. I don't want to just hear it over and over. So please, people, if you're gonna make videos, make some newer content, I guess, right? But again, I think we do have some price action sideways for the next like 5 months, 3 to 5 months, I would say. That's just my opinion. Or actually probably I would say 2 to 5 is going to be really like sideways stuff just for everything, the market as a whole. Nothing else really jumping out at me. I don't really know what else to kind of go over here. Everything's just on fire sale, so have at it. All right, let's get into the mining thing. I want to see what we got over here. You guys know I like to timestamp this stuff. We have the KS5 Pro 21 terahash unit making $72.10 a day. Look at that. Hell yeah. Perfect. That's awesome, actually. It's more than it was the other day, and it's actually the market's even worse today. So after 10 cents kilowatt hour, that is your profit. We get the KS5 20 terahash unit making 68.67. We get the KS5M 15 terahash unit making 48.74. The KS5L 12 terahash unit making 37.36. Oh god. Oh, the AL box is down here. I was like, where did it go? I was expecting it to be up here. Oh damn. Oh damn, the AL box took a hit. All right, we'll get there in a second. The Dragon Ball miner KS6 and the BMKS Max 11 terahash unit making 31.67. Wind miner K9 10.3 terahash making 31.15. Again, this is all like relatively close. It's not exact numbers, but they're pretty close. The Ice River KS3 8 terahash unit making 22.67. The L9, which is probably, well, the L7 is definitely one of my favorite machines. The L9 is probably going to be another favorite of mine once we start seeing these things ship, and I would love to test one, to be honest. 16 gigahashes, $20.40 a day. We got the Lithium Gold Shell AL box, 360 gigahashes, 180 watts, 1850. That's crazy. Lithium must have taken a real shit for it to be 1850. That is literally half. That's half the price, and the wattage is like insane. So you know it's not the wattage doing it. Hold on. All right, I gotta look. Let's see. Oh god, actually it's not that bad. I thought it was gonna be worse. It was $1.50 the other day, right? Now it's $1.39. Man, there must have been a lot of hash rate come on or something. Network Bits, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I've never heard Chump Change talk so fast. How many Red Bulls he had this morning? No, just a couple cups of coffee, and I had to get my kids to school, so I'm like awake, I guess. I'm sore, but I'm awake. Yeah, $1.39. It's really not that bad, but I wonder how crazy the hash rate is, because that seems like it took a real big hit, to be honest. The Ice River KS3M 6 terahash unit making $14.60 a day. That's pretty terrible, actually. Let's see. All right, the Antminer L7 9050. You guys know I got this thing down at Terra Hosting. Shout out to them if you want to get hosting, or hosted rather, pay cheaper electric rate than you have. I'm making $8.27 as of today on this thing. This thing's been killing it though. Honestly, I was making like 20 bucks a day almost a couple months ago. It went down to like between 20 and 10, and now it's obviously below 10. So that's kind of shitty, but it is what it is. Let's see, scrolling down, KS2 2 terahash unit making $4.71 a day. We got the KS1 making $2.35. The one I'm really nervous to look at. Hold on, let's look. Where's my S19K? How bad is it? Oh boy. Oh, it's not that bad. It could be worse, I guess. The 120 terahash unit S19K Bitcoin miner, or SHA-256 miner rather, is making negative 31 cents a day. Bruh. Oh man, please come back. Actually, hold on, you know what? I'm gonna click into that one because I want to see where Bitcoin would be. I want to see how much less it is. Oh god, Bitcoin's even less. Wow. So damn, that's crazy. So yeah, it would be like $1, or it would probably be like 60 or 70 cents, right? Yeah, it'd be about 70 cents negative if I was mining Bitcoin on it, which I am. Damn it. That is terrible. That is so bad. Oh god. All right, scroll all the way up. Hold on. All right, let's see. Where is the KS0 Ultra 400 gigahash unit making 10 Caspa a day, $1.28? Actually, I don't think these things have shipped yet, but I can't wait to see what they look like. I think I'm going to be getting one, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Let's see. At what power rate? At what power rate? Oh, my the S19 is, I think it's like, honestly, I don't even know. It's between 9 and 10. I think it's 9.5 if I'm not mistaken, but I feel like I always get it wrong when I say that, so I don't know. It's between 9 and 10 though, down at Terra Hosting. I forget, they changed the rates and I just don't remember exactly what it is, but no, I just pay the bill. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna let it ride, is what it is. But it's getting to the point where I'm like, shit, maybe I should start shutting this stuff off, because that's crazy. But at the same time, when you're in hosting, it's kind of like you got a contract, just keep it on. It is what it is. Anyways, let's see over here. GPUs, moving on. We got top coin to mine. Seems to be Ironfish and some sort of dual mining. Ironfish Pyron, right? Or Graham. Interesting. How's Pyron doing actually? PYI. Let's see. 5% down. 2 cents, 2.5 cents, a little bit over. Man, Pyron's taking a real shit. I feel like Unmineable kind of killed this one, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I think it killed this one. But hey, here's what it is. You guys mine it, make money, do what you gotta do. Let's see. Graham looks like on the 4070 Ti Super, the BC250 Ironfish across the board. We got Neoxa on the 6800 XT. How's Neoxa doing actually? I still never made my node. I just left it in inodes like a dink. I totally should take it out and make a master node, but damn, for the 10th of a penny, that's terrible. What in the hell? What in the hell? Oh, I added a new soundbite. That's what that one's doing. Right down the drain. Let's see. We got the 7900 GRE. What the hell is that? What does GRE mean? What does the GRE mean? Please, somebody enlighten me. You guys like that? Oh god, that was the funniest stream ever when you guys showed me that. I didn't see it until Saturday night. It was a riot. Oh my god, I had the best time with dad ever. Brian Hollywood, good morning, sir. All right, the A4000. We got is this Cortex, I believe? CTXC rather. We have Nice Hash, Zell Hash. Interesting. Pellish Miner, dude, thanks for being a member for 7 months. Good morning, everyone. CCXD, take it easy, working in the yard. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much. I gotta get the thing done so I can get this video together, because oh my god, them poles, setting them poles to that pergola is a pain in the ass. I can't. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was awful. 12 footers, pressure treated. When they're soaked, they're heavy as shit. They are terrible. Doing it by yourself is awful. The 3080 12 gigabyte over here mining Ergo and Graham. Interesting. Let's see what's Ergo. What's Ergo looking like? God damn it. Every time you just hit enter, it like goes wherever it wants to go. 91 cents. 91 cents. It was at $2. Jeez. Man, remember when it was at 20? Crazy. Man, everything is just dying. That's nuts. All right, so you guys got a few things to pick from. Chlor on the Radeon 7s and Neoxa. Interesting. Nice. Nice, nice. All right, nothing really jumping out at me. Let's see. New coins. We got any new coins today? Neon X. I feel like I looked at this one last week. Ultron AI. What is this? Ghost Rider. Let's see what this one is. Guys, if you're going to get off this site and go to these websites, please do it at your own risk. Be safe. This computer's VLAN, so it should be all right. Did I look at this one? Ultron D-Pin, a large model based event driven engine. A new paradigm of intelligent investment research. For the specific business logic in the field of intelligent investment research, Ultron AI, is that how you say that? Implements the training of financial specific LLM through pre-training, prompting, enhancing, and deducing. What is deducing paradigms? What? And launches the financial industry intelligent investment research big model engine. That is like a shit ton of big words that I just don't care about, and I don't want to read this anymore. This site looks like ass though, to be honest. What is going on here? Let's see. Development 10%, miner 20%, smart node, and staking. Oh, it's another staking. Interesting. Total staked. Staking users 72 people. I don't know, man. Everything that's like deep in is like, I feel like it's just getting the buzzword right now. It's kind of like AI, same shit. I mean, that one's got both in it actually, right? AI and it's a deep in project. I don't know. Interesting. Anyways, no real big events coming up. 193 days for Veriscoin. Anybody care about this Pepe, this fake Pepe, whatever's going on there? Probably not. All right, let's see. I don't think we're really missing much in the news lately. Really nothing going on. Just kind of talking about price action, layer 2 roll-ups, must decentralize sequencers or face the consequences. Bitcoin Lightning hacker Burak, is that how you say that? Introduces new layer 2 roll-ups. Interesting. Yeah, I don't care about that. All right, we're gonna move on. Mr. Anthony Pompliano over here on CNBC television. Let's see what they got to say. Hopefully you guys hit that like button. Appreciate you for hanging out. Let's do it.
Crypto prices tumbling this morning. Joining us now, Anthony Pompliano, founder and partner of Pomp Investments. When do you look at what's happening with crypto and decide that there needs to be a reason for what's happening? I mean, moves like this back to 61. Watching Bitcoin for the last 5-10 years, the moves happen like this all the time. Do you have 3 reasons why Bitcoin has come down from above 70 to where it is now?
I think it's important first to put it in context, right? Bitcoin's up 40% year to date. It's up 100% over the last year. So in terms of volatility,
I am so glad he said that. I'm so glad he started it like that, because that is like, I feel like that's a lot of people are forgetting. We're up literally double from where we were like a year ago. Not even, right? It's literally up $30,000, and people are like upset that it's taken a $10,000 pullback. Like, it's not a big deal.
This is pretty expected. What we've seen in previous bull markets is that there's 4, 5, 6 different drawdowns of 30% or more. We're down about 15% or so. So this is right within kind of the band that you would expect. I think that what occurs is when an asset goes up a lot, people start to take profit. And so what we've seen is this explosive rally to start the year. People naturally take some of that profit. We're also seeing a lot of people doing the basis trade, where they're basically going long the spot market and they're shorting futures. And so what that is doing is it's dampening some of the volatility, which allows for leakage and some selling. And then lastly, I think, is we get to the summertime, right? You see this, a lot of people in the public markets will say, you know, invest till May and then go away. And so you start to see some of that as well here, where people are seeing these really explosive moves at the beginning of the year. And then also Q4 tends to be a big kind of quarter for crypto as well. And so Q2 into Q3 tends to go kind of sideways. I think that's just what we're seeing.
We've noted that it has decoupled a little bit from just the risk-on trade and the NASDAQ trade. And, you know, stocks have held up better than Bitcoin, even though the prospect of rate cuts is 5, 4, 3, 2. Now, I don't know where we are. We're at 1 rate cut this year. That's what Bitcoin really needed, was an easier Fed. That's what always juices it.
What I think is really interesting is, you know, a couple of years ago, it was all about Bitcoin and crypto. Now, a lot of people are talking about AI, but I think people are kind of missing that these are actually part of the same trend. Right? We're going into this automated world where AI is going to create enormous amounts of wealth, and Bitcoin is going to protect that wealth. And so when you start to see these technologies coming together, you know, an easy way to see that intersection is, what money are the machines going to use?
Then why is it diverging?
Well, what you start to see is people are putting capital, they outlay it into Bitcoin, into crypto, and now they move over to AI, they'll go and they'll invest there. But it's not like Bitcoin is going and falling, you know, 50%. What they're going to do is, as AI continues to, you know, kind of get larger, there's more wealth generated there, people are going to look to protect that wealth, and I think that they'll go back into Bitcoin. And so my guess is that AI and Bitcoin are both a 10-year trend here. We've got massive tailwinds. And the good news for the United States is there's a potential that GDP will actually increase because of the productivity from AI, and then Bitcoin being able to protect a lot of this wealth. I think that people looking at this as what's going to happen day to day or week to week are missing this huge tailwind for the next decade.
So after having, maybe you get profit taking too. Is that part of what?
Historically, we've seen a run up in.
Yeah, why does Joe sound so sour today? I was thinking the same thing, Crypto KJ.
To the halving, and then we've seen, you know, sideways to slightly down.
This is the first time you had a spot ETF, though.
Correct.
Are they have as much Bitcoin as they need now to satisfy clients?
No, I think that what we've seen in the ETF flows, when you go and you analyze it, about 80% of the flows into the ETF were actually retail, right? People thought it was going to be big institutions, but only 80% was retail from some of the analysis. What takes a long time inside of these organizations is they've got to go to their investment committees, they've got to make a case, they've got to go through the approvals. You know, if you're a financial advisor, the number one job you have is don't get fired. And a great way to not get fired is to make sure you've done the work, make sure you're risk mitigating, and really understand what you're about to buy. And the last thing I'll say is, you know, the thing about Bitcoin that always cracks me up is when the price goes down, people get upset. But I always tell them, you maybe should go check what you own. Because if you have true conviction, when the price goes down, you should be excited to go buy more of it, right?
And so
I was literally saying this morning that I'm going to go to the office, I'm going to go buy some more, right? And the reason why that's so important is as the price goes down, if you have a 10-year time frame, you're just getting it at a cheaper price. You're dollar cost averaging down. And so I do.
That's like the biggest thing. People get so like hell-bent on getting rich quick, and crypto's not a get rich quick scheme for the most part. Like these meme coins, pump and dumps, yeah, clearly you guys can get rich quick, but you have to know what you're doing. You got to be able to trade and all that shit. But Bitcoin's like a long-term game. Like you should have an outlook of like 5-10 years, not like, you know, I want to buy in today and sell tomorrow. Like that's the stupidest mentality when it comes to Bitcoin.
I think that Bitcoiners, more so than almost any other asset class, historically they've bought, they've held for a long time, they continue to dollar cost average, and they're using these timeless investing principles to create real wealth for themselves.
I don't know, if you bought at 8, it's tough to buy at 60.
Came with Smokey Dan said, you're telling me 4 years in and I'm still broke.
Well, if you bought at 8,000 and you still have cash, right, where else are you going to put it? I think that's the big question is if you want to protect your wealth and you're getting paid a salary every single year, that net new capital, where do you put it? You can put it in the stock market, you can put it in Bitcoin. But again, if you go and you look over a long period of time, what is beating inflation? You know, gold is a great example. Over the last 5 years, if you've held gold, you've actually lost purchasing power in real terms. Right. And so naturally, Bitcoin ends up being one of the only solutions that people are picking.
Yeah, stupid is a mean word. I apologize. All right, I'm just kidding. I guess it's not. It's just a really bad mentality. Let's put it that way. All right, Nvidia's growth is going to continue for at least the next 18 to 24 months. You know what? Actually, I like this whole going live a little later because there's like news clips that I can play from this morning, which is nice. That's what all these are from, actually, except for Crypto World. We're gonna jump into that from Friday. I want to see what the top stories were. Anyways, let's get into the Nvidia stuff.
Nvidia shares are down once again in the pre-market today. Investors cooling on the AI giant in the latter part of last week. This morning, you can see the stock off by about 1.8%. Still, month to date, the stock's up 13%, and a much bigger run if you're looking year to date or the last 1 year. Joining us right now with his take on the stock of the moment is Ray Wang. He is Constellation Research founder, chairman, and principal analyst. Hi, Ray.
Hey, good morning.
You've got a $200 price target, and you say there's an entire list of 7 reasons why you are convinced this stock is going to get there. Why don't you lay out the broad argument?
Well, Becky, there's 7 modes that are important on why the stock will hit 200. First,
dude, this guy's got like an announcer voice. That's so crazy.
Is a visionary-led CEO, and that's very, very important. As you've seen in the Valley, those are the ones that have led, you know, like the Larry Ellisons of the world, the Scott McNeelys, the Mark Zuckerbergs. The second one is the high barrier to entry. There's few competitors that can come into this chip market, and it takes a long time to get a chip to market. And if you can do that, and if you succeed, and then if you can actually get the right chip, that's a very, very hard thing to do. The third one is high switching costs. Once you're in, you're locked in because of the CUDA software. You're able to access the chips, the software, and the entire stack. You're going to be locked in for quite some time, and they've got quite a lead in terms of doing that. And of course, NVIDIA's had dominant market share, and I think that makes a big difference because they've been in this market for quite some time, and the competitors are behind by 24 months. And then, of course, we're only seeing 1/10, maybe 1/100th of the product roadmap that NVIDIA has out there. And that's really exciting for those who actually have some insight into what they have next, because it's more than just chips and it's more than just what's happening in software. That ability to go from silicon to all the way to the end side, that's where we're going to see a lot of the innovation. And of course, the ecosystem has made the GPU a default standard. It's the standard of everyone's looking to for AI, from inference and testing. And of course, the numbers don't lie. I mean, we're seeing some amazing growth here that actually matches the PE ratio, and that's what everyone's looking at. They're trying to figure out how this is going to continue, but gross margins of 78%, 262% growth compared to a year ago. This is going to continue for at least the next 18 to 24 months.
So how do you describe the pullback over the last week?
Oh, the pullback is coming at a macro level. People are worried about the consumer side. People are worried about where the economy is going to head, and they're doing some profit taking before the summer. So I think it's a good time to buy the dip.
Ray, there are some people who look at this and say, oh,
are you guys buying NVIDIA too? Let me know in the chat.
Okay, this is the equivalent of what we saw with Cisco back when the internet phenomenon was taking off in the late 1990s. How is this different?
I think this is different because when we were looking at Cisco, when we were looking at where Intel was and where Microsoft was, that era was really built on those three companies. I think NVIDIA has learned from those lessons and realized that they have to go much broader than just being a separate company building just chips. What NVIDIA has done has built partnerships that are going to last the next era. And so in the age of AI, we actually believe AI begins and ends with NVIDIA because they've actually built out a roadmap that is much more encompassing than where networking was or where software was. They actually see that end-to-end vision. And that's one of the interesting things with what we see with Jensen's overall vision.
Today, the stock's at 124. Your price target, $200, is the next 12 months?
Damn, $200 next 12 months. That'd be a nice return, actually.
It's the next 12 months, correct.
Shit, I got to get into that. I got to start buying NVIDIA or stock market stuff. All right, pull back in the Magnificent Seven. Poses an opportunity, investors. Let's see what they got to say, I guess, over here on CNBC television. This is about an hour ago.
Stocks are set to enter the last week of June near record highs. This is the longest stretch for the S&P 500 without a one-day drop of 2% or more since the financial crisis. Joining us right now to talk markets is Sylvia Jablonski. She's the CEO and CIO of Defiance ETFs. And Sylvia, on top of the numbers that we just mentioned, you are looking at 8 weeks out of 9 that the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ are higher. Dow's been on a winning streak lately, too. Is that the type of thing that makes you think, great, it's time to jump in? Or as you get longer in the tooth with these long runs, does it make you nervous?
Good morning, Becky. And it's a great question. 31 all-time highs that we've seen this year in the S&P 500. NASDAQ's been rallying. Yes, we're at all-time highs in a lot of stocks. We're, seeing the Mag 7 run and things like this. So I wouldn't necessarily, be itching to jump in today, but I do think that we're seeing some pullbacks in the Mag 7. And then I do think that poses some opportunities for investors. So, for example, NVIDIA, the beloved stock of the year, is down about 6% since the 18th. It looks like it's down a little bit pre-market. That's a name where if you've had some FOMO, you might kind of jump back into the market, even given its stellar run.
Outside of just the Magnificent Seven, though, do you think that there are other places? We've had a lot of talk about the rest of the market catching up. Are they doing that?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the issues, and I think that's what will need to change if we continue to see the market rally into year end. We'll have to see that, that divergence of breadth in the market. It's just kind of been sitting in the Mag 7. So I do like other areas of the market. You talked about in the last segment some of the weight loss drugs. I think that's a spot to look. You look at companies like Lilly. I mean, they're just having an epic run because of this cultural shift and using these various weight loss drugs for different diseases. I also think that AI is going to benefit that sector and kind of make things more usable, more efficient, and you'll get some tailwinds there. And then when you think about AI, it takes a lot of energy to power the AI phenomenon. So things like uranium, nuclear energy, copper, you're going to have to power this massive amount of data processing, data usage, data centers, and things like that in order for this to continue going forward the way that the companies are suspecting it will. So I'll look at things like uranium and copper. I'll look at 5G that has, kind of lower latency for communication, the staples that will feed AI.
I know you mentioned that the software companies are on sale. Interesting. We've seen Salesforce pull back, Adobe pull back. But is that an opportunity to buy, or is there a reason that we've seen this pullback?
I think there's a reason that we've seen the pullback, and the reason is that they haven't embraced the full scale and scope of what is AI. Having been a user of a lot of these software platforms, particularly Salesforce, I just don't think they're there yet. But what I think that will happen is that they'll start to harness AI, and it will be usable for companies to, whether it's to find clients, whether it's to optimize sales and things like this. Once they get there, I think given the pullback, they're names that I want to be focused on. So I think it's a longer term play, but it's an area of the market that's been beat up, and it's an area of the market that hasn't, come to fruition in terms of its AI greatness.
I don't know. Adobe's been pretty strong with their AI offerings. Also, the idea that they're not stealing content from everybody else to teach their language model on.
Yeah, so Adobe, agreed with you on Adobe. I think I'm looking more at Salesforce in this particular situation. So Salesforce, I think, is a software that is used by every major bank and financial institution, furniture companies, things like this. And I just don't think that their AI works that well, for lack of better words. And I think that when they harness that power fully, it's going to benefit the stock price there.
Sylvia, what do you think about the concerns in the EU looking at the big tech companies? We focused on how they're looking into Apple at this point, but the idea that you could come up with a fine that's 10% of global revenue, not global earnings, not earnings within even the EU. To come up with fines like that, you are talking about tens and tens and tens of billions of dollars. How big of a risk is that? And generally, we think of China as being a big risk, but what if the EU is just as big, if not bigger, a risk?
Can I ask why this stupid pop-up keeps popping up on the bottom here? It's driving me friggin' nuts. It's popped up like 5 times.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think that we think about China as our main, kind of risk factor when it comes to tech companies. And here we see this fine for Apple. I think that, these tech companies are going to have to find a way to work with regulators. They're going to have to work within the parameters of the rules and kind of, shift and readjust. And that could lead to potential losses, if they actually end up getting hit with these fines and if they, do have to kind of separate different parts of their businesses. So it's certainly a risk out there. I don't think that it necessarily affects all of the Mag 7, but I do think that it'll impact companies like Apple. We'll have to look and see what happens with Meta and content and things like this. So it's certainly something for investors to be aware of.
There's been a lot of stuff going on with AI and or is it OpenAI and Elon Musk or something with Apple getting into it or whatever. I want to watch this over here. This is a quick little Tesla clip. I want to see what they got to say about it. This just came out about an hour ago as well. Guys, that like button. Appreciate you hanging out. Let's do it.
Tesla's layoffs have reduced the company's headcount by about 14% so far this year, according to a count of the people on Tesla's company-wide email distribution list, which was viewed by CNBC. In April, Musk told employees that the company would be cutting more than 10% of its staff, and reports at the time said Musk was aiming for staff cuts of up to 20%. Musk recently reinstated performance-based stock options for, in his words, exceptional employees as a way to potentially boost morale among remaining staffers. I think he had another kid, too. Did you see that?
No, I did not see that.
I think so. I think it makes an even dozen, not a baker's dozen. That's the next one will be up. Isn't 13 a baker's dozen? Yeah, I think he's got a regular dozen.
Wow.
That's something, isn't it?
Cheaper by the dozen.
That's something. That's getting it done, though. Getting it done. If he worries about population growth,
Doing his part?
not just talk. He's not just talking the talk. He's doing something, walking the walk, if you will.
Yeah. A new piece in the Financial Times says that ex-CEO Linda Yaccarino has shaken up her inner circle. It says she fired her right-hand man and head of business operations and communications, Joe Benarock, earlier this month. That report cites a senior ex-staffer who said Yaccarino has become increasingly nervous as Musk piled pressure on her to raise revenue and lower her expenses, including cutting staff from sales teams and reducing spending on travel.
Well, you know what Brandon Coyne would say.
If she don't hawk to her, we don't talk to her.
That's it. All right, what the hell? Why can't I get out of this? What is going on? Why is that up? All right, let's move on to over here. Crypto world, CNBC television. We got, I want to see what the news stories were at the end of the day on Friday. So this was a couple days ago, but I just want to recap it.
All right, let's talk about the top stories. 2 U.S. lawmakers visited the Binance executive detained in Nigeria, and they're calling for his release. Representatives French Hill, a Republican, and Chrissy Houlihan, a Democrat, visited Tigran Gambaryan in prison while in the country to discuss anti-terrorism efforts. In a post on X yesterday, Hill said that Gambaryan is being wrongfully detained and should be freed. The congressman said Gambaryan is suffering from malaria and double pneumonia while being denied access to adequate medical attention. In a video in the X post, Congressman Hill said that he asked the U.S. Embassy to advocate for the humanitarian release of the Binance exec because of, quote, horrible conditions in the prison, his innocence, and his health. Hill was among the lawmakers that signed a letter to President Biden earlier this month urging him to work for Gambaryan's release. The executive has been detained in Nigeria since February, facing money laundering charges due to his involvement in the crypto exchange. Next, the Winklevoss twins donated $2 million in Bitcoin to support Trump in the upcoming election. In a post on X yesterday, the founders of the crypto company Gemini said they each donated $1 million in Bitcoin to support the candidate. Tyler Winklevoss wrote that President Biden's administration had, quote, openly declared war on crypto and that Trump was pro-Bitcoin, pro-crypto, and pro-business. We reached out to President Biden's campaign for comment, but didn't hear back right away. Trump has presented himself as a champion for crypto and met with Bitcoin mining executives earlier this month, including those from the publicly traded companies Riot and CleanSpark, while the crypto industry is increasingly trying to influence the upcoming elections with millions in donations to crypto-focused super PACs. Last, a California judge ruled that...
Real quick before he talks about that, Geek of All Trades showed me a hat that kind of looked like the MAGA hat. It was in like the same lettering, and it said it's just a red hat. Could you imagine people that like hate Trump, how much shit you'd get for just wearing that hat? It'd be a riot.
A California judge ruled that a civil securities lawsuit against the crypto company Ripple will move ahead to trial, but dismissed allegations suggesting that Ripple violated federal securities law by selling its token XRP. The federal judge for the Northern District of California ruled yesterday that a jury will hear arguments on whether Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple's CEO, made misleading statements in connection with the sale of securities in a 2017 interview. The judge tossed out other claims in the class action lawsuit. According to court documents, attorneys for Ripple argued that the claim should be thrown out because XRP does not meet the definition of a security under the Howey test and therefore can't give rise to a claim for misleading statements in connection with a security. In yesterday's court document, the judge said that Ripple argued that the court should follow the reasoning of Annalisa Torres, the federal court judge for the Southern District of New York, who ruled XRP did not meet all the points of the Howey test when sold to retail participants on crypto exchanges. That ruling was considered a partial victory for Ripple. Now, we reached out to the firm regarding the development in California, and in a statement, Ripple's chief legal officer said that the one individual state law claim that survived will be dealt with at trial and that nothing disturbs the ruling from Judge Torres in the SEC case. Now, this afternoon, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse posted on X that the fact that 4 out of 5 claims in the suit were dismissed is a, quote, big win, adding that nothing in the decision negates or changes the fact that XRP is in and of itself not a security, according to the New York court decision. He added that regarding any misleading statements, he stands by what he said and is looking forward to shedding light on that during the trial.
Interesting. Here's that hat. It's kind of funny. I guess it wasn't in the same lettering, but relax, it's just a red hat. It's such a good troll. It's so funny.
All right, for our main story this week, Consensus said that the SEC closed its investigation into Ethereum and won't pursue enforcement action against the company. Crypto World's Talia Kaplan spoke with Laura Brookover, head of litigation and investigations at Consensus, about the development and whether the crypto firm still plans to pursue its lawsuit against the agency.
I want to discuss a big development for Consensus this week. In a blog post on Tuesday, Consensus announced that the SEC notified you that the agency is closing its investigation into Ethereum 2.0 and will not pursue an enforcement action against the crypto company. This development came after the Wells notice Consensus says it received from the SEC and the lawsuit filed by Consensus a couple of months ago, alleging regulatory overreach by the regulator. What was your reaction to this latest development, and what do you think it signifies for the industry as a whole?
Well, we were very pleased to receive the letter noting that the investigation into Ethereum 2.0 had been concluded and that it was concluded without charges against Consensus. It's the right result. It's the result that should have happened a year ago. It's a result that we're trying to seek in our lawsuit. So
let's be real. It's only because they don't want to, for one, take the risk of losing it, but two, like they're hurting. You know, if the SEC is going to hold these lawsuits that are just, more or less like holding a wet paper bag, like they don't have any real evidence or, any like real thing against it, it's just going to make Biden look bad because he, puts Gary in the head of the SEC, basically, right? So now that they're trying to make the whole, pro crypto thing part of the presidential thing, it's or the presidential election rather, it's just going to change the sentiment of everything. It's weird. It's just like a huge game, and I wonder what's going to happen after the election. Like if things are going to come back and bite us in the ass. That's what I'm really wondering.
We're very pleased that this happened.
Like if they're going to open stuff
but of
again,
course, the fight isn't over. The Ethereum investigation was just one of 3 investigations that Consensus has been facing and that are the subject of our lawsuit in Texas.
And so what do you think this development signifies for the industry, if anything at all?
Well, it's hard to say. The letter itself was very short. It was very clipped. It said only that the investigation was concluded, no charges were being brought, but it even resisted it disclaimed us drawing any conclusion from it, such as, that they found that ether was a commodity and not a security. So although it's welcome that the investigation is over, it doesn't go far enough to provide the sort of transparency that the industry really needs as to why the SEC has closed this investigation and how that decision is relevant to the many other investigations and enforcement actions that are ongoing. So although we're pleased with the result, it just doesn't go far enough.
It would be nice if they actually said why, but I mean, we all know why. It's the presidential bullshit that's going on.
So what happens now? Do you still plan to pursue your lawsuit against the SEC? And if so, what's the main reason for moving forward with the suit? I know Consensus sued the SEC back in April to, quote, defend the Ethereum ecosystem, according to blog posts. But now that the agency is closing its investigation into Ethereum, do you think moving forward with this lawsuit would still be an important step for Consensus and the crypto industry at large?
Well, not everything that we've sought in the lawsuit is redressed by this letter. Like I said, there are 3 investigations into Consensus. One dealt with Ethereum 2.0, or the merge, which was the transition to proof of stake. And that lawsuit was really focused on the Ethereum protocol itself and Ether on its own, whether Ether on its own was a security as a result of the merge. But there were 2 other investigations that we've dealt with, and those have culminated in a Wells notice finding that the Consensus has violated securities laws with respect to MetaMask swaps and MetaMask staking. Those are very important product features for our MetaMask wallet software. And one thing I want to emphasize, the MetaMask staking product feature, it relates to Ether staking. So services that Ether holders can take advantage of to stake their Ether. So although the investigation into Ethereum 2.0 and Ether on its own is concluded, there are still big questions around staking services and how the SEC views those. And until we get definitive answers and really a judicial ruling that we have not violated the securities laws, we're going to keep fighting, because we brought the lawsuit in light of this cloud of regulatory uncertainty that's been hanging over our head for years. And while this letter goes a little way in removing that cloud, it doesn't go far enough.
Right. They need to have real guidelines and tell them, like, hey, well, this is wrong or this is right. Like, it's okay or it's not okay.
So just to be clear, you are in fact continuing with your lawsuit against the SEC.
MetaMask is ass, though, by the way. If you guys use it, please find a better way.
Yes, I mean, we're still reviewing the implications of the letter, but as you know, our current plans are not to change and to continue fighting so that we can get the relief that we brought the lawsuit to seek.
Expanding on what you just said, does this week's development settle some of the other concerns you outlined in the lawsuit against the SEC? The suit claims the SEC has wavered on Ethereum's classification as a security. Do you think that is more clear now?
Yes, the letter does give us some of what we've sought, and I think that's important to underline. We asked the court to declare that the Ethereum investigation was unlawful and that it could no longer proceed, and that also the SEC should be barred from bringing an enforcement action against Consensus predicated on the Ethereum 2.0 investigation. Now, the letter, by saying that the SEC is closing the investigation without charges against Consensus, does give us some of the things that we have been seeking in the lawsuit. But again, we still are looking for that declaration that MetaMask swaps and MetaMask staking are not violating the securities laws. And so there's a lot still to deal with.
I do want to mention we reached out to the SEC about this latest development, and a spokesperson told us the agency does not comment on the existence or non-existence of a possible investigation. But what do you think changed? Why do you think the SEC closed its investigation into Ethereum and won't pursue enforcement action against Consensus? In your blog post from this week, I read that following your lawsuit, several policymakers, including members of Congress, voiced concerns over the SEC's Ethereum investigation. Do you think that played into it at all?
It's the $1 million question. What changed? Because if the SEC has changed its policy positions, which is really sort of would be the most welcome news to the industry and to Consensus, that would be wonderful. We don't know. The SEC hasn't told us what changed, right? They just sent us a letter with no explanation, simply saying they concluded their investigation. I have to think, though, that just if you look at the timing and the chronology of all this, that the Ethereum investigation was full bore before we brought our lawsuit. And then after we brought our lawsuit, there was mounting pressure from members of Congress, from others in the industry who previously had been unaware of this investigation. You have to think that that did lead to the SEC backing down on the investigation. But it would be really useful for everyone to know what the SEC's considerations were, what they concluded as a result of the investigation, what facts they found, what determinations were made, and we haven't heard anything like that yet.
Interesting. All right, shout out to them for that. Let's move on. I want to watch one video with Mr. Lark Davis. I don't know what this video is about. It was 22 hours ago, exposing the hitting tax that will ruin you. I want to know what the hell he's talking about. So hit that like button, guys. Let's watch this, and we're going to go raid Miss Randy Hipper.
Why do you think that ninjas from ancient Japan or modern stealth fighters are feared by their opponents? Well, because you cannot see them up until it's too damn late. And you know what? We are being subjected to something even more sinister and scary than ninjas. It's a hidden tax that's actually sucking the life out of everybody every single day, a death by 1,000 cuts. So do you want to outsmart the system? Then you better listen up. Stay with me for the next few minutes to learn about monetary debasement. See, inflation is something that the average person, we kind of understand. We go to the store, price of whatever you're buying is more. Your $100 can buy less today than it did 10 years ago. And it will certainly buy even less 10 years from now. You know this. But you know that this is by design. It's not an accident. This is exactly what they want. Now, who in the hell in the right mind would let this happen? Well, you'd be surprised the governments actually want it this way, and that monetary debasement is a tool for them, and it helps keep the government afloat. Now, what exactly is monetary debasement? Well, if I could use only one word to describe it, then I would pick illusion. Illusion. Yeah, illusion, as in like a David Copperfield kind of illusion, making you believe that magic truly exists. Government magic. The government can debase or lower the value of money whenever it wants. All they have to do is click a few buttons. It's usually associated with coins, like Roman Empire stuff, diluting the silver coins. But debasement happens when the precious metal content in that situation is reduced, but the nominal or face value is still the same. It's still worth one whatever at the day. And nowadays, currencies, they don't contain gold or silver. They haven't for quite a while, in case you didn't know that. However, paper money is easier to debase. They don't need to have the illusion of making you think your money is worth something. It's all just worth nothing. It's paper. Now, as you might have guessed, the money supply can be increased by
It's so true. It's so freaking true. It's literally only worth what you think it's worth. What they tell you it's worth. It's paper at the end of the day.
Again, the push of a button. Increasing the money supply creates an illusion of wealth and an illusion of abundance. While in fact, the prices of goods are also increasing. And guess who gets to front run you on all that price increase? The banks and their buddies. Anyway, money printing can stimulate the economy. It can help the government to manage its debts, but excessive money printing can be detrimental to consumers and, of course, may end empires. Look back in history, read the Ray Dalio stuff. Go watch our Ray Dalio video. It can be devastating, okay? To understand it farther, let's take a look at history. Now, to be clear, monetary debasement is not a new thing. It's not a new idea. It's not a new phenomenon. No, it's been happening since ancient times, man. The US dollar, of course, right now is the most important currency today, but it won't last. Understand history. During the peak of the Roman Empire, it was the denarius. At first, the denarius had high purity. It contained 4.5 grams of silver. Nice. Of course, the amount of coins that could be minted was limited to how much silver the empire could actually go out and get its hands on. The limited supply affected how much the government could actually spend. Okay, you can see the problem here. And as you can imagine, maintaining a big standing army, as the Romans did, building all those roads, building all that cool stuff, the amphitheaters and all that stuff, entertaining the masses with gladiator matches, that can all pretty quickly drain the state treasury. So what did they do? Mine more silver? Oh no, they just decreased the purity of each coin. Same face value, less silver. It got so bad that after a few emperors down the line from the time they started doing this, purity went down to just 5%. Now, of course, that didn't help ordinary citizens. Terrible. Prices of goods and services went up. The coin's value went down. In fact, went down so much that Emperor Marcus Aurelius Antoninus, aka Caracalla, increased soldiers' wages by 50%. Of course, he didn't want to anger the army. right? Now, the debasement of the denarius is arguably a major reason why the Roman Empire actually started to decline and eventually collapsed. Monetary debasement, unpayable debts, all that kind of stuff. Sound familiar? There is another more modern example. After World War I, Germany had to pay their reparations to allied nations. Now, in order to meet their financial obligations, the government at the time, well, they had to devalue their currency. In the early 1920s, the mark was valued at 8 per US dollar because of the money printing that they were doing to try to do that. And then it went to 184 per US dollar by 1922, and it was 7,350 per US dollar just a short time after that. It eventually collapsed and it reached 4.2 trillion marks per US dollar, and the country returned back to the gold standard after its fiat experiment completely went down the gutter, down the toilet, whatever. During the money printing period, Germans suffered, of course, from hyperinflation, and they had to use wheelbarrows to carry money for groceries. Venezuela's had a similar thing happen. It happens in modern times too. And yes,
yeah, good point. You'll own nothing and like it.
these extreme cases make our current predicament look like a walk in the park. I get it,
crazy.
But it can happen real fast. Okay, when the shit hits the fan, when that scenario comes, it can happen a lot faster than you expect. Not overnight, but faster than you expect it to happen. Anyway, right now we have the slow, kind of burdensome, invisible tax going on with money debasement, the tax you did not sign up for. And before we get a little more into depth with all this, I want to take
Come on.
Now, look, we're all familiar with taxes. They suck. Inevitable, just, like death and taxes, right? Anyway, for most of us, it involves having a big chunk of our salary deducted before a single penny even reaches us. Taxation is theft. Look, for the unlucky ones, it can be more than a third of their income. For some people out there listening, it might be almost 50% or more of your income, depending on the country you live in. And it doesn't end there. The money you get after the government gets its share will once again be taxed when you want to go and buy something. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. How much of the money they take from you. Now, in the USA, for example, the sales tax can be anywhere between 5 to 7%. Generally, no escaping. I think a couple states don't have sales tax. But anyway, so what do? Thinking you can outsmart the government, right? You're going to be clever. Well, you need to put your leftover money in the bank, right? That's where it goes. No. What about stocks? Well, stocks have a pretty good performance historically. However, the government still gets the last laugh because you have to pay for capital gains taxes, and most of you listening will have to pay for capital gains taxes or any other kind of income derived from your investments. Again, you'll need to pay some kind of dividend tax or something like that. Long-term capital gains can be taxed at a lower rate in the USA or in other jurisdictions, and it's higher for short-term gains. But wait, there's still more. Oh, so many taxes, because there's the invisible tax as well. It's not just the dividend tax and capital gains tax and the sales tax, the income tax. Obviously, we're all familiar, of course, with inflation. We have to accept the fact that in good years, you'll be seeing at least 2% increase in the prices of goods and services. You need to make at least 2% on your money in order just to remain flat. So with the knowledge that inflation is here to stay, we all have to try to fight back with our investments to try to outperform inflation. Okay, you have to invest in stocks, you have to invest in Bitcoin, you have to invest in whatever stuff, right? Since 1957, the S&P 500 historically has had a 10.2% annualized return, which is almost always, few years, we got pretty crazy inflation, but almost always beat inflation. Of course, when you sell, of course, you have to pay capital gains to the tax man, depending on maybe you have some retirement accounts or something that will delay or defer that. Anyway, the government is not yet done dipping in their pockets. You remember, the government is also printing money the whole time, thus debasing your hard-earned dollar. So your profit margin will actually end up being lower. Former hedge fund manager and founder of financial platform Real Vision, Raoul Pal, he shared his insights on this one. Now, according to him, while we are focusing on the 3.5% inflation rate currently, the real issue is the 8% annual debasement of the currency via money printing on top of inflation. This makes 12% the break-even rate if you are invested in the S&P 500. Think about that. Think about how crazy that is. I know that's mind-blowing that even the best years are probably still underperforming the S&P 500 when you account for all the money printing as well as the inflation. And I know it's somewhat confusing since we associate currency debasement with inflation, but think of it this way. Imagine you're a kid saving up 100 coins for a new toy. Inflation is when the price of that toy goes up by 3.5 coins. But here's the sneaky debasement part. There is somebody, let us call him Uncle Jerome, good name, who is secretly taking 8 coins a year from your piggy bank. The odds are against you. Now, let's just say that hypothetical Uncle Jerome, he also has a bit of a spending problem and he needs the cash, right? So you have 2 problems now. You see, the toy gets expensive, more expensive over time, but somebody has also been stealing your purchasing power. Now, they don't physically take that money away. They just devalue the money, okay? And that stealthy thief really can't be stopped unless you stop the Fed. Well, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? So you have to add around 12 coins a year so you can keep up to pace to be able to buy that one toy. Now, this is what's happening to you and me right now. We need to earn more and more each year just to keep our heads above water. 12% is high, but don't let that discourage you. There are ways to get ahead. by now, of course, we all know that money in the bank's not going to cut it. You're 0.1% interest rate. Even your 5% in money market funds, you're probably if you're real smart, you're still underperforming massively. I don't think there's
Mr. Patrick Murphy. I don't think that's the same as Uncle Tickles. Crypto for Seniors, thank you so much for the $2.99 super chat, dude. You're awesome. 129 watching, only 58 likes. Show some love. Appreciate you for that. Thank you so much for keeping the stream alive.
any bank that's going to give you 12% APY, sorry, and that's still just break even. The S&P 500 has an average return of 10%, but this is for the whole damn index. Individually, there are a lot of stocks, of course, that can give way beyond that, but you then take more risk. Obviously, you might lose out big time too. For 2023, tech stocks ruled the index. Nvidia, Boyd.
Oh, damn. Look at that. Nvidia, 239%. Meta Platforms, 194. Royal Caribbean, 162. Builders First Source, what is that? 175. Uber, 149%. Carnival, 133. Advanced Micro Devices, 128. We have Pulte Group, 127. Consumer. That's all right. Interesting. I don't even know what this is. Halo Alto Networks. What is that? Technology, 111%, and Tesla's up 102.
Up by the crazy AI craze, had a 239% return. Great, but it's an aberration. Meta and Tesla registered big gains, 194% and 102% respectively. Again, fantastic, massive outperformance, but a lot of stocks underperformed. You, of course, need to do a lot of research before diving in any particular stocks. If you love shiny things, having a small
it's firewalls. Interesting, Ryan Lewis.
portion of your portfolio in gold might help. Maybe over longer time horizon, stocks outperform gold, and gold, gold, as they say, it's just gold, man. It's always been considered as a hedge against inflation. Just kind of sits there, doesn't it? Anyway, why do you think central banks globally, of course, are trying to hoard up all that gold? Because they want to have something tangible. But gold is hard to store and hard to transport. Great for governments and central banks, harder for the regular person. Fortunately, you have a better option. You have Bitcoin. In 2023 alone, Bitcoin rose 156%. And from a longer time perspective, it has showed a 671% average return for the last 10 years. The average annual return for Bitcoin has remained very, very high. Bear market years accepted, of course. With all the money printing going on, of course, more likely that people are going to flock to Bitcoin even more. It's deflationary money. It's money that cannot be controlled by any dirty Federal Reserve, central bank anywhere in the world. Sovereign funds and asset managers are out there trying right now to include it in their portfolios. They're shilling it to their customers because they know its potential. They know more and more people are getting orange pilled every single day. You see, debasement is like tax in debt. There's no escaping it. However, we can at least have the tools, and we do have the tools to protect ourselves from it, because the hidden tax is not going away. It's very prevalent and it's pernicious in your life. We're lucky that we have options.
Well,
so
shout out to Locke Davis for that video. Mr. Brian Hollywood, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Can I get a shout out for my boy Keegan, first time watcher? Keegan, what's up, dude?
If she don't hawk to her, we don't talk to her.
Just remember that, all right, buddy? Just remember that. All right, let's move on to the recap of things, just kind of see what we're looking like, and then we're going to raid Miss Randy Hipper. I have stuff to do today, unfortunately, but Bitcoin looking like 61,488 bucks, guys. Listen, again, we're up almost 100% from a year ago. This is not a huge pullback. All right, things will come back eventually. Just takes time. Don't be a Timmy. Biggest thing I could say. Keegan going far with his life advice. With this life advice, that's great, Patrick Murphy. Thank you very much for that. We have Ethereum at 33.23, not too bad. ADA is actually, I think this has a real good chance to run up again. Easy 6x, at least in my opinion. 37 cents, stupid cheap right now for that. Solana, 128 bucks, that's stupid cheap. LTC, same thing, under $70. It's awesome. Caspa is actually at 15 cents now. Nice, look at that. XRP, 48 cents. Honestly, I feel like XRP is just, why? I don't understand it. It's like, it doesn't move much. It really doesn't, up or down. Well, actually more down than up, but it really doesn't move much at all. ETC, 22 bucks, 22.66 to be exact. We got Dogecoin under 12 cents, almost 12 cents though. Pepe is doing real shitty, down 5.9%. Cheap is doing real bad, but again, guys, fire sale. All right, flashbang. Let's see what we're looking like over here. Fear and Greed Index. Let me just refresh it. Still at 51. It is neutral. This is good. This is good. Again, this is a collective overall of the markets, news, internet, prices, everything, right? This is just the sentiment overall. So if you guys don't know what this is, just the crypto Fear and Greed Index, feel free to check it out. Again, Brian Hollywood, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat, dude. You're awesome. I appreciate it. Yeah, guys, listen, fire sale everywhere. Feel free to invest. Don't invest it all in one place, but I would definitely recommend getting into some of these coins that are down pretty low, like ADA. That's really not a bad one to get into, at least in my opinion. All right, guys, listen, I got a lot of stuff to do today. I wish you guys all a happy and safe Monday. I'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, peace out. Let's go raid Miss Randy Hipper. Have a good day.
If she don't hawk to her, we don't talk to her.
Eat shit, Gary.